You walk silently down the torchlit corridor of the royal compound, your bare feet barely touching the polished red stone floor. The walls, painted with ancient tribal symbols, pulse faintly in the dim glow. It is the year 1863, and you have just been chosen as one of King Zuberi's sacred companions, a position whispered about in every village but understood by none. You are 15 years old. Your name was once Ao, but that name now belongs to a girl who no longer exists. The moment the royal guards arrived in your village, the life you knew was taken. You were washed in oils, dressed in golden linen, and stripped of everything familiar. An elder named Imtemi walks ahead of you. His back is hunched, but his presence is commanding. He is the one who prepares all the girls for the king. His skin bears the scars of loyalty, and his eyes are as unreadable as the ancient drums echoing faintly from the palace courtyard. He stops without turning and says, "Listen closely, Zina. That is your name now. What I tell you will decide whether you live or vanish without a trace." His voice is steady, as if this conversation has happened hundreds of times before. You say nothing? You are not allowed to. Not yet. The outside world may think this palace is gold and silk. They believe girls like you are lucky to be here, but they don't see the truth. This is not a place of love. This is a place of rules. And the rules are older than the king himself. The wind carries the smell of crushed hibiscus. Somewhere far off, you hear the faint song of morning birds. Everything feels sacred and dangerous. Zina, your body now belongs to the crown. But if you want to keep your soul, you must understand what's ahead. These are not rules written on scrolls. Yes. These are the invisible chains around your neck. You feel the weight of your new identity pressing down on your spine. Rule number 1, Mtemi says, without emotion. You must never turn your back to King Zuberi. Not when he enters. Not when he speaks. Not even when you undress. If he circles the room, you must glide like the moon across water, always facing him. Always. You want to ask why? But the air in your throat tightens, because he fears betrayal more than death. He trusts no blade, no word, and certainly no woman's back. A needle tucked in your braid, poison under your nail, or a dagger sewn in silk. These are his nightmares. And if your back faces him, you become one. Your knees wobble. You'll learn from Safina, he continues. Lasted for harvests. She moves like shadow and wind. She undresses without exposing her spine. Even her tears fall in silence. Ow! You try to imagine moving like water, but your body feels heavy like stone carved into girl-shape. Mount EMI steps closer. The rules will bruise you before they save you. But every girl who survives this place learns to wear pain like perfume. He turns to continue down the corridor, and you follow without question. Your heart races, but your face remains still. You're entering a world where no one touches power and remains whole, where girls become vessels and silence becomes survival, and with each step forward, a girl named Ao fades. Only Zina remains now. The next morning, you're led through carved wooden doors into a narrow chamber filled with incense smoke and whispering. Silk Safina is already there, her dark skin glowing beneath the morning light, her expression unreadable. She has survived where others have vanished. Without greeting you, she begins. You'll forget how to speak like yourself, she says, brushing oil into your hair. Because the second rule is silence, unless he commands your tongue to move. And even then, you will never say, I, you are not I. You are this humble girl, this unworthy companion, this offering. She moves like a ghost behind you. Her hands are gentle, her words are not. Once you enter his presence, your voice becomes a servant. If you speak without permission, they'll mark your name in the ash book. 3 marks, and you're gone. Thank you. Whisper, where do they go? Safina looks you in the mirror. They don't. You hold your breath. Rule 3, she continues. Never look into King Zuberi's eyes during the act. Keep your gaze just beneath his jaw, not out of respect, out of survival. Eye contact means you've seen him as a man, not a god. That's a sin in this place. You shudder. He doesn't want to see you either. Not really. He wants a body that breathes, not a soul that remembers. You picture his eyes. What if they were kind? What if they weren't? Matter. The rule is law. Rule 4, she whispers, leaning close, is silence during the act. Total silence. Unless he tells you to make a sound, no gasps, no tears, no breath that escapes without his permission. You blink. Because noise means feeling. Feeling means you are real. And in this palace, you are only real when he allows. You too be? Safina lifts your chin. I once watched a girl forget that. Her cry slipped out when he heard her. She was smiling the next day. Smiling too wide, too long. Like someone had stolen the sound from her throat. You nod slowly. You understand Rule 5, she says? Wrapping your waist in golden cloth? Is that his pleasure must always come last. Because his climax is a blessing from the gods. Yours is just flesh. If you forget this and finish before him, you are punished for mocking divine order. You feel your stomach twist. Some girls teach themselves to feel nothing at all. Others memorize riddles and numbers during the act just to keep from slipping. Your voice is barely audible. And Rule 6, Safina tightens the cloth. After. He's done. You stay still. It doesn't matter how long. It doesn't matter if your legs shake or if you bleed. You stay in that position until he speaks. Only then may you rise, not before. You stare at the wall. Because your stillness proves that you understand, she says softly, that you are his to finish. Not just the act, but the moment, the silence, the space. For a long time, neither of you speaks. The rituals have begun, the reshaping of your body, the erasure of your voice, the burial of your name. Xena is learning, and survival is the only lesson that matters. By your second week in the palace, you no longer count days. Only warnings. Only glances. Only rules. The 7th rule finds you fast pregnancy. If your moonblood is late, even by a night you must whisper it to the chief sister of the court. Not to King Zuberi, never to him. Whisper too late and you'll vanish. Whisper too soon. And be wrong, and you'll be whipped so deep the scars will outlive you. The body becomes your enemy. Every ache, every cramp, every twinge fills you with dread. The older girls keep hidden diaries, mapping their cycles like soldiers planning a war. Some drink bitter herbs in secret. Others pray not to feel anything at all. And if it's confirmed, you are caged in silk and gold-guarded day and night. Not honored, watched. You are no longer a girl. You are a vessel, a holy womb, a breathing cocoon. The child is sacred. You are not. Rule 8 teaches you to smile at women who hate you and cry for ones who will steal your place. When more than one girl is summoned, there's a ritual. The most favored enters first. The rest are accessories, some to watch, some to participate, some to perform. You lock eyes with Marembe once? You used to whisper stories together in the bathhouse? Now, she's kneeling by the king's bed, holding a basin as he touches another girl. There's no hate between you, only distance, only the silent knowledge that closeness is dangerous here. Friendship is a luxury only the dead can afford. Rule 9 is impossible. You must read the king's moods better than you read your own. He enters angry. You must soothe him but never suggest he is wrong. He arrives grieving. You must comfort him without ever appearing above your station. Joy must be mirrored, but not exaggerated. Like fear must never show. You become a mirror that breathes, a shadow that adjusts. Rule 10 cuts the deepest. You must remember everything's preferences, his movements, his words, his silence. Every night with him is an exam where forgetting costs everything, but when you step out of his chambers, you must forget it all. You must smile as if nothing happened. Eat with the others as if your mind is blank. Sleep as if you weren't used like a sacred object, then discarded like a torn cloth. You learn to separate. Memory into rooms, one for him, one for you, one that stays locked forever. Safina tells you some girls forget which room is real. They begin to hum in corners, or laugh at shadows, or speak to people who aren't there. Rule 11 teaches you that even desire follows the calendar. In harvest season, you are dressed in fruit-colored cloth and praised for your hips. During the dry moon, you wear feathers. And speak of renewal. During wartime, your posture must reflect courage, your touch like fire. The king is not just a man, he is a god of seasons. And you are the living dance of his moods, his power, his fears. Rule 12 makes you afraid of the walls themselves, because sometimes others are watching. A silent sister, a quiet guard, a eunuch with no eyes for beauty, but all ears for betrayal. Not to please, to monitor, to report if you show a single real feeling. One girl was dragged away because she wept while being touched, another because she smiled too genuinely. Rule 13 is sweet poison. Sometimes the king sends gifts, a silk wrap, a carved necklace, a rare fruit, but every gift is a weight. Test. Accept it, and you owe him something. Decline it, and you've insulted the crown. Even the other girls start to look at you differently. Why you? Why not them? You begin to fear the golden box more than the whip. The palace is not built of stone and gold. It is built of performances. And every performance is a lie you must learn to believe. By now, you've learned how to walk in silence, how to smile without joy, how to breathe without sound. But the chains in this place do not end at the king's door. Rule 14 wraps around your heart, your family, your mother, your brothers, your cousins. They are not forgotten. They are held, not in chains, but in honor. An honor the palace can destroy with a whisper. If you displease the king, your uncle may never marry. Your sister's dowry may vanish. Your father's name may be blackened in the village. From the queen mother in your bloodline dissolves into shame. So even when your body aches and your mind splinters, you smile for them. You serve for them. You survive for them. Even love is no longer yours alone. Rule 15 is the mirror you try not to look into. Aging, as your time in the palace stretches, you begin to see yourself change. Lines form under your eyes. Your skin, once smooth like river stone, now dries faster under the painted powders. You are taught how to keep youth stitched to your face, ash bark to tighten the skin, hot stones to raise. Blacklead too. Hide the graying edges of your hair, but nothing fools the king's gaze forever. The younger girls arrive fresh, scented, wide-eyed. You smile at them, pretend to mentor them, but inside, storm churns. You are training your own replacements. Rule 16 is the last door dot. When King Zuberi dies, you will not simply mourn. You will choose, though it's not really a choice. You may offer yourself to be buried with him, a queen in death, your family given riches and land, songs sung in your name, or you may live alone, childless, marked, never allowed to remarry, never to know touch again. Forever known as the woman who once belonged to a king and now belongs to no one. Some girls write their farewell letters long before he dies. They compose poems about loyalty. They rehearse how they will kneel when the time comes. You wonder if you'll be one of them. You wonder if you'll be given the option. Then there is Rule 17, so quiet that it's not spoken out loud, resistance. The only rule not made by the palace, but by the women who have learned how to survive it. They hum songs in secret notes. They fold napkins into patterns that send warnings. They use the language of flowers to pass messages in plain sight. A rose means danger. A daisy means sorrow. A yellow hibiscus means hope. Some whisper stories into their washwater. Some hide forbidden seeds in the hems of their robes. Few try to run. Fewer succeed. But still, resistance exists. Hidden in the folds of stolen moments. In the breath before obedience. In the look passed between two broken girls who remember their real names. You cling to that rule most of all, because it reminds you that you were not born to be silent. You were made of wind and flame. You were someone before this place, and somewhere deep inside. You still are. There comes a moment, deep in your 3rd year, when you no longer remember the sound of your real voice, not the one you use here soft. Obedient, perfect, but the one that laughed freely by the river. The one that yelled when your brother scared you. The one that sang lullabies to your baby cousin. That voice is gone. Because Rule 18 says you must love the king, but not really. You must act as though your soul burns for him, but protect your heart like it's a fragile fruit hanging over. A pit too much love, and you drown. Too little, and you vanish. The trick is to dance in between, showing just enough hunger to keep his gaze, just enough distance to keep your sanity. But most girls can't do both. Some fall in love for real, and when he tires of them, they wither like petals left in the sun. Others turn their hearts to stone, and soon they forget how to feel anything at all. The ones who survive longest are neither lovers nor strangers. They are shadows dancers. In a storm of power, Rule 19 comes like a storm when the old king finally dies. His eyes never open again. But yours do for the first time in years. The court changes overnight. The new king arrives. His mother sweeps in like fire. And suddenly, every woman who shared the old king's bed becomes dangerous. You, your friends, your memories, you are no longer sacred. You are inconvenient. Some of the girls are sent to temples in the mountains' heads, shaved, stripped of names. Others are taken away and never spoken of again. One morning, you see Safina dressed in plain linen, scrubbing floors of the guest wing. Her hands shake, but she doesn't speak. She has become the warning the rest of you must learn from. Then comes Rule 20, the hardest, the final. You must forget everything. Forget what you were before you entered the palace. Forget every night in the king's bed. Forget every girl who vanished. Forget how to be human. You are a story erased from paper, a name whispered in wind. A woman who never existed beyond this place. But you are not free. You are simply older now. One night, a new girl arrives. Her eyes wide, her head full of stories. Her feet uncertain against the stone floor. She's 15, just like you once were. And now you are the one walking her down the corridor. You are the one who stops by the candlelight. You are the one who whispers the rules. You watch her face change, and you realize you are no longer just a survivor. You are the system. You are the chain passed from hand to hand, voice to voice, the keeper of the fire. And as you speak, as the wind carries the sound of fountains through the palace walls, you know the rules will never die. Only the faces do.